from one hand, I wanted to have the book printed for that particular person in the book that was mentioned that he had very short time to live. But because it was a true story, and I say it is a true, word by word a true story, and it is. I had to write real names and places and all. Mm-hmm. Someone said to me, you know, think twice before you. Yeah. And I had to read the book Power Without Story, Without Glory once, and I knew about it. So I thought I'd go and ask the legal commission, legal aid, and of course it was free to go and see it for the first time. They told me, and of course that was understandable that to form an opinion on defamation cases had to read the book and see what it is about. And then I was worried because I never had the money to pay for someone, I don't know, thousands of dollars to read the book, the hours it would take to. And then one friend of mine spoke to a solicitor who was advice on legal matters and defamation for the Age newspaper. And when I asked him what my fears were and all were, he said to me, he told me that I don't have to worry, go ahead. Because on the other hand, there's so many fishermen that live today from that era that knew what I was reading in the book or what I say it is true. So I took the pain, I was worried about it, and I felt good. Well, I had one lady rang me. He said I had trouble with my husband because I hadn't cooked. Start reading your book and I hadn't cooked. Yes. And some other people, well, mostly say, George, what a wonderful story. You know, been a true story and gone back, 40 years ago now. And some say, well, what happened after? A lot of people, when they say what happened after, I say, well, it's not a biography, it's just what happened in those 6.5 years of time that the story is about the scallop industry. The collapse of the scallop industry in 1968 in Port Phillip Bay was about something like 200 fishing scallop boats around Melbourne, rivers and the bay. So a lot of boats, they went to other states to fish for. And then in 1971, when they discovered the scallops at Lakes entrance, of course the local boats that had their licenses, they went fishing. I mean, there's a lot of things happens. A criminal element comes into it, where there's money, there's corruption. So I was the Australis was one of the boats that we went to Queensland fishing for prawns. So when we came back here in 1970, end of 71, the fisheries department and the government's policy was the boats had let the license collapse, would not be allowed to fish. That was the time that I wasn't allowed to fish in the state, and this is the time I visited Mr. Becksgrove as a member of Parliament. And yes, it's really saddened me because he was the only man, as a politician, who went against his own government's policy he thought was unjust. And he was the man that took his time and went to the fisheries department and we got our license. You say in the book what happened to the industry after the collapse of the industry in the scallop industry in Victoria. Of course, today, out of 200 boats that they were fishing for scallops, there is about 10 or 15 boats working at the Bass Strait and with quotas and closed seasons and whatever. I mean, the Port Phillip Bay, where it started off, the fishing industry started or the scallop industry started. It's closed, as you know, since '97, and now it's full of scallops. I don't know if we ever open it again. And if we take and notice that it was a very big industry with exports to France and Europe, besides the local market, the scallop industry. So will be another book to come. Yeah. A lot of people, I mean, you know, the fishermen is the ones really that asked the story to be told, and might be another